Hey guys, I'm Dennis. Welcome to my channel Guy with a Plant. In today's episode, I'm going to convert some of my Hoyas into semi-hydro or passive hydroponics from the regular potting medium into water. Okay, I've never grown my plants in water before, in semi-hydro. I have a lot of aeroids in my collection and all of them are in regular potting medium. I mean, not regular, but aeroid mixes, which are generally very loose and very well draining. So this is the first time I'm putting plants in water or growing them in water. And I'm not sure how it will go. So this is going to be an experiment, especially they are Hoyas. And as you know, most Hoyas, they like to dry out before watering. So I'm not sure how they will fare in the long run. In this video, I'm going to bring you through the process of how I convert them from regular potting mix to water. So yeah, this is the first for me. So we will see how that goes. Let me know in the comments below whether I'm making a big mistake or just like myself, you're also curious to know how's the outcome. So let's get into it. And to make it even more challenging, I'm going to use Pumice instead of Leca, which most people will use for semi-hydro. I'm not sure how that will work out because Leca will have more gaps in between and that will provide good oxygenation. I'm not quite sure about Pumice, but Pumice has been doing well for me as a rooting medium. I've rooted a lot of cuttings in Pumice, so I'm going to give this a try. Anyway, so this is the challenge number 2, using Pumice instead of Leca. And challenge number 1 is putting Hoyas in water. So yeah, it's going to be a double whammy. So let's see. Alright, before we begin, let's talk about some of the items that are required in this conversion process. Firstly are the pots. These are the planters. These are self-watering pots which you can easily get it online or any of the nurseries. And this pot is made out of a few parts. Firstly, this internal net pot which is slotted, or this lids here which allows the water to be absorbed. And also it comes with this string which acts as a wick to absorb the water upwards to the plant or to the roots of the plant. And lastly, this external pot which doesn't have a drainage hole, and this is where the water will reside and contains the whole ecosystem. So this net pot will be sitting on top of this external container. Yeah, it fits nicely. So the potting mediums go right in together with the plant. You don't have to use a self-watering pot. You can just get any regular net pot, especially those for orchid use. You just put it in your own container. This is considered an open system because you can easily remove this net pot and give it a good flush, and also check on the water or to replace any water easily. There is another system that is the closed system, whereby you just put the potting medium, mainly Leca, in this transparent container. But the downside to that is you can't really flush out any impurities that has accumulated in the system after a while. So that's why I still prefer to use this open system, which is more flexible. Okay, the next item that we need is of course the potting medium. Like I mentioned, as I've watched on YouTube, most hobbyists will prefer to use Leca, but I'm going to experiment with this Pumice. Looking at the grain size, I'm a little bit concerned whether is it too small for the net pot. So let's try. I think it should be fine. Okay, now I have another problem. I only have one box of Pumice. I'm not sure whether is this enough for all my Hoyas. Okay, but as a standby, I have some leftover Geostrath here, which is meant for cactus and succulent. So if this is not enough, I'm just going to mix them together. Okay, and finally for the nutrients that I'm going to mix in the water, is this. I bought this online from a local hydroponics company. So I think this should work. Hopefully it's suitable for houseplants as well as edibles. So it comes with two types of nutrients which I need to mix according to the instructions per 1 liter of water. Yeah, I'll show you the instructions here. Yeah, just got to mix 2 parts of the nutrients in 1 liter of water. Yeah, it comes with a syringe as well. And look at this, this is a free pack of seeds, romaine lettuce. Right, so you're supposed to dilute 4 ml of solution A and 4 ml of solution B in 1 liter of water, which is going to create the feeding solution base. So this is pretty straightforward. Water, I'm just going to use the good old regular tap water. I'm not sure what's the water quality like here in Singapore. It's definitely potable, but that doesn't mean that it's good enough for plants. I think it should be fine. I know some people will actually use distilled water or water that has been filtered to reduce the dissolved material in the water. So the reason being is because you want the total dissolved material in the water to be as low as possible, because you'll be adding nutrients to it. So can you imagine if the dissolved material inside is already very high and you add more nutrients? I think your plant is going to be poisoned in the long run. Yeah, but I'm just going to use regular tap water, so we will see how the experiment go. So yeah, that's going to be challenge number 3, using regular tap water. All right, finally, let's look at the victims. Hoyas. First is this Hoya pubicalyx splash. This is not as splashy now, and as you can see, it's not looking really good. It started off as a 2-leaf cutting that I got from the parent plant, which unfortunately is no longer with us. Managed to save this, but I must say it's growing really slowly, but it's putting on a new growth, as you can see. Yeah, so that's victim number 1. Number 2 is this Hoya archbodiana pink, I think. I wouldn't know because this never flowered for me. This is also a cutting which I got from the parent plant, which is not looking well at all. It's really struggling. But this was a 1-leaf cutting, and yeah, I'm happy to say it has grown quite a bit, and there are new growths as well. Tiny leaves. I heard that the archbodiana actually prefers to be moist compared to most Hoya, so I think this may do well in semi-hydro. Yep, fingers crossed. I really like this Hoya, even though the leaves are pretty regular looking, not fantastic, but the flowers are amazing. Very big flowers, very interesting. So I hope this can flower for me soon. And lastly is this Hoya latifolia silver splash. No. This is a Hoya macrophylla snow queen. The leaves are pretty big, and I believe it can get much bigger. And the silver splashes on the leaf are really beautiful. So again, this hasn't flowered for me because I got it only a few months back, and yeah, it's definitely a cutting. So let's see. And there are some stowaways here. I think some oxalis plant. I think it's a weed. Okay, let's remove all the Hoyas from their pots. I'm going to recycle the potting mix. I'm just going to pour them into this plastic bag. First, the pubicalyx. So as long as there's no pests in the potting mix, I will try to recycle them because yeah, most of them are still in pretty good condition. I can recycle the pots as well. For semi-hydro, I will need to remove as much of the soil off the roots as possible because you do not want any contaminants in the water which may cause an infection of some sorts. So these are the roots. Okay, next I'll do the snow queen, this macrophylla snow queen. Just give the pot a squeeze. Yep, it's out. Okay, the roots of the macrophylla is much finer compared to the pubercalyx. So I think these may appreciate moisture more, so that these fine roots will not dry out quickly. Okay, and lastly, the Archbodiana. Again, give it a squeeze. Wow, this comes off really easily. Okay, you know what? This is really going to be a challenging experiment for me, or rather for these Hoyas, because look at the roots of this Archbodiana. It's almost non-existent. Very, very little roots compared to the number of leaves that it has. No wonder it's struggling. Yeah, let's go and wash off all this excess soil from the roots. I want it to be really, really pristine, totally clean, not a single speck of soil on their roots. Okay, good morning. This is the day after. I've decided to soak the cuttings overnight because I find that the roots are really quite dry, strangely. Not sure why. So I've decided to rehydrate them. And this also serves another purpose of removing most of the soil from the roots, which I really need to wash them off. Yeah, there's still some soil there, so yeah, I'm going to give it a good wash in the shower later. Well, this is a really tedious process because a lot of the potting medium is stuck to the roots. So I think it's beneficial to soak the roots in a hydrogen peroxide solution to sterilize them. Not sure whether are these sphagnum moss or are they roots. It's really hard to tell. Okay, I've rinsed off most of the dirt from the roots. I've done the best that I can, but of course it's still not perfect. I think there are still some moss here. Yeah, but I think it's pretty clean. Look at this Archbodiana, totally no roots whatsoever. So I'm really surprised it's still looking so healthy. So if you hear a saxophone in the background, that's my neighbor. Yeah, he practices almost every morning. Right, so these are some of the pots. Okay, let's pot them up. I have two bigger pots and there's one smaller one. Not sure why. I think I bought the different sizes. Okay, let's start off with the smaller pot with the corresponding smaller net pot. Yeah, I think I'm going to put the one with the least roots. So this Archbodiana goes here. So even though this looks really big, it doesn't have a very big root ball or no roots at all. So a small pot would be sufficient. I've rinsed the pumice as well, let the water run clear so that there won't be any dirt. Decided to use the geostrut as well because I'm very sure the pumice is not enough. So let's pot out the first one. Just going to put a little bit of the pumice at the base. Some of this. Okay, that's the Archbodiana. Okay, the next bigger pot, I'm going to do the pubercalyx. Apparently there are two cuttings in there. This is a single leaf one and this is the main cutting. Yep, going to do the same. Actually, this pot is a little bit too big. This size would actually be enough. Yeah. Just a single leaf one. I hope you are enjoying my neighbor's saxophone practice. It's really therapeutic. Alright, so this is the pubercalic splash. And lastly will be the Macrophylla Snow Queen. Okay, I've given them another round of rinsing and the water has run clear, so that's pretty clean, and I've cleaned out the pots and everything, so it looks really nice and fresh now. Next, I'm going to prepare the water, and that is the final part. So I'm going to prepare the water. I have here a container that I fill up to about 2 liters. Yeah, the 2 liter mark here, so which I think should be enough. And yeah, this is the nutrients. So there's 2 parts to the nutrients, solution A and B. So which is the instruction is to dilute 4 ml of each part of solution in 1 liter of water. So I can actually put 8 ml each into this water. Okay, so 8 ml is this to this level, but I'm not sure whether is that too much for a start. To be on the safe side, I think I'll rather just give you 4 ml each, even though this is a 2 liter water. Solution B. Gonna mix them together. Give them a swirl. Oh, gosh. Okay, let's bring out the first pot. This is the Ashbodiana. This is the smaller pot. So I'm going to fill this up to about 1/3 of this container. Alright, so it's about this level. I'm just going to put this net pot in. Make sure that the wicks are properly inserted. And yeah, there you have it. Ta-da! 1 down, and I'm going to do the rest. Next will be the pubercalics. Do the same, make sure the wicks are in place. Alright, so everyone is repotted into this semi-hydro setup. I hope they will do well for me, as this is my first time trying this. Especially this Ashbodiana, which is totally rootless. So let's see what will happen. I'm going to update you guys in another 3 months. As you know, my Hoyas grow really slowly under my conditions. I hope this refresh will help them to grow more vigorously. And yeah, so if you'd like to see the updates, do subscribe to my channel. It doesn't cost you a cent. And yeah, on the notification bell. I'll see you guys in my next episode. So meanwhile, take care, be safe, and remember to show your plants some love.